Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to the Reli Talks. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey, a story not many know in depth, yet it has transformed millions of lives across the globe. Let me begin with a question. Have you ever wondered how new religions are born? How does a single individual, with nothing but faith and conviction, ignite a fire that spreads across nations and generations? Some religions date back thousands of years. But today's story is about one of the youngest global faiths, a religion born less than 2 centuries ago, yet now embraced in almost every corner of the world. This is the story of the Bahá'í Faith, a religion of peace, unity, and hope. But like every great faith, its beginnings were not easy. It is a tale of courage and sacrifice, of vision and persecution, of exile and resilience. So, sit back, relax, and allow me to take you on a journey through time. A journey that starts in 19th century Persia and unfolds into a vision for the future of humanity. Part 1. The World Before the Bahá'í Faith. The mid-1800s was a turbulent period. Persia, known today as Iran, was a land of contrasts. On the surface, it was a country rich in tradition, poetry, and culture. Yet beneath there was corruption, inequality, and unrest. The common people were suffering. Many were searching for spiritual renewal. A longing grew in hearts for someone who could bring justice and guidance, someone who could speak a new truth from God. Throughout Islamic tradition, there had long been prophecies of a great figure to come, a reformer, a guide, someone who would open the way for a new age. Many people in Persia at that time believed that this awaited moment was near. And it was against this backdrop that the seeds of the Bahá'í Faith were first planted. Part 2. The Bab, the gate to a new era. In the year 1844, in the city of Shiraz, a young merchant named Sayyid Ali Muhammad made a bold declaration. He announced that he was the Bab, a title meaning the gate. But what was this gate? The Bab explained that he was the gateway to a new era of faith, a messenger of God preparing the world for someone even greater who was yet to come. The Bab's message was simple, yet revolutionary. He taught that humanity was standing at the threshold of transformation. A new age of peace and justice was near. Thousands of Persians, men and women alike, were drawn to him. His words carried power, his presence brought hope, and his vision awakened hearts. But not everyone welcomed his message. The religious and political leaders of Persia felt threatened. They feared losing their power and influence. They accused the Bab of heresy and rebellion. What followed was a wave of violent persecution. The Bab's followers were mocked, imprisoned, tortured, and killed. And in 1850, the Bab himself was executed by a firing squad in the city of Tabriz. It seemed like the movement might be destroyed, but the Bab had already prepared the way. His prophecy, that another messenger would come after him, was about to unfold. Part 3. The Rise of Bahá'u'lláh. Among those deeply moved by the Bab's message was a nobleman from Tehran named Mirza Hussein Ali Nuri. He was born into wealth and privilege in 1817. But instead of seeking power, he used his position to help the poor, the sick, and the oppressed. People knew him for his kindness and compassion. When he heard of the Bab's teachings, he immediately recognized their truth. He became a devoted supporter of the new movement. But as persecution increased, he too was arrested. In 1852, Bahá'u'lláh, as he would later be known, was chained and thrown into a filthy underground dungeon in Tehran. The place was dark, crowded, and foul-smelling. Chains cut into his neck and shoulders. It was here, in that dungeon, that he had a profound spiritual experience. Bahá'u'lláh received a vision of God's presence, calling him to a divine mission. He understood that he was the one the Bab had foretold, the promised messenger who would bring teachings for a new age of humanity. After his release, Bahá'u'lláh was exiled again and again, first to Baghdad, then to Constantinople, then to Adrianople, and finally to the prison city of Acre in the Ottoman Empire, today part of Israel. Despite years of exile, imprisonment, and persecution, Bahá'u'lláh never stopped writing and teaching. His writings, thousands of tablets, letters, and books, became the foundation of the Bahá'í Faith. Part 4. The Core Teachings of the Bahá'í Faith. Baha'u'llah's teachings were both timeless and revolutionary. At their heart was one central message: unity. Let's look at some of the core principles he shared. The oneness of God. There is only one God, the same divine reality behind all faiths. The oneness of religion. All major world religions come from the same source. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Zoroaster, all were messengers of God, each bringing guidance suited to their time. The oneness of humanity. All human beings are members of one family. No race, nation, or class is superior to another. Equality of men and women. At a time when women were denied education and rights, Baha'u'lláh declared that men and women are equal in every way. Elimination of prejudice. Prejudices of race, religion, and social class must be abolished. Universal education. Every child, boy or girl, has the right to education. World peace and cooperation. Nations must work together, establish justice, and replace war with dialogue. These teachings were radical in the 19th century. They challenged traditional systems of power. But they also carried a vision for the future, a vision that feels more urgent today than ever before. Part 5. Sacrifice and Spread. Baha'u'lláh endured nearly 40 years of exile and imprisonment, yet his spirit never broke. From his cell in Acre, he wrote letters to kings and rulers of his time, to the Shah of Persia, the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Queen Victoria of Britain, Napoleon III of France, and even the Pope. In these letters, he called on them to rule with justice, abandon war, and unite humanity. Most ignored him, some mocked him. But history has shown how far-sighted his vision was. When Baha'u'lláh passed away in 1892, his mission did not end. He left behind a growing community of followers across Persia, the Middle East, and beyond. Part 6. Abdul-Baha and the Next Chapter. Before his death, Baha'u'lláh appointed his son, Abdul-Baha, as his successor. Abdul-Baha was known for his wisdom, humility, and gentle nature. He carried his father's message forward, explaining it in ways that ordinary people could understand. He traveled widely to Egypt, Europe, and even the United States, meeting leaders, thinkers, and everyday people. He spoke of peace, racial equality, and the unity of all faiths. In a time when segregation and racism were strong in America, Abdul-Baha openly declared that black and white people are equal before God. His courage inspired many. Part 7. Building a Global Community. After Abdul-Baha's passing in 1921, leadership of the Bahá'í Faith passed to his grandson, Shoghi Effendi. Shoghi Effendi was a scholar and visionary. He organized the growing Bahá'í community, encouraged translation of writings into many languages, and guided the building of Bahá'í temples around the world. Later, the leadership shifted to the Universal House of Justice, a global governing council based in Haifa, Israel. This council continues to guide the worldwide Bahá'í community today. Part 8. The Bahá'í Faith Today. Today, the Bahá'í Faith is present in nearly every nation on earth. Millions of people from every culture and background identify as Baha'is. Bahá'í communities are active in promoting education, women's empowerment, racial equality, and peace building. They run schools, support grassroots development, and engage in interfaith dialogue. Yet in the birthplace of the faith, Iran, Baha'is still face harsh persecution. They are denied education, jobs, and basic rights. Many have been imprisoned simply for their beliefs. Despite this, Baha'is in Iran and worldwide remain steadfast, living their principles with dignity and courage. The Bahá'í message, one planet, one people, one future, continues to inspire movements for human rights and peace across the globe. Part 9. Why the story matters today. The world today faces challenges of division, racism, inequality, and conflict. The Bahá'í vision of a united humanity, of cooperation instead of war, of justice instead of prejudice, feels not only relevant, but necessary. It is a reminder that religion at its best is not about division, but about unity, not about hate, but about love, not about walls, but about bridges. Conclusion. So, As we close this journey into the origins of the Bahá'í Faith, let us remember the courage of the Bab, who stood as the gate to a new era, the vision of Bahá'u'lláh, who called humanity to unity, the sacrifices of countless followers who suffered but never gave up, and the ongoing story of a global community still striving to live by these principles. The Bahá'í Faith teaches us that humanity is one family, and though our world feels divided, the dream of unity is not only possible, it is our destiny. This was the Relitox, and I thank you for being with me today. If you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe, so together we can keep exploring the roots of faith and the lessons they bring to our lives. Until next time, stay inspired, stay united.